Sonic Masterplays. So, I've always liked the character Sonic the Hedgehog. Way back when I had a bunch of the comic books, and I hadn't seen the cartoon yet. So when I saw this animated intro for Sonic CD, I got sexually excited. I had borrowed a friend's Sega Genesis and his Sega CD, and I rented this from a video store, and I just remember being so fucking excited. I woke up at 3 in the morning on a Sunday, put this in, and I watched this intro numerous times before even attempting the game, which of course I turned out to be terrible at, just like all other Sonic games.
It's a supersonic light, gotta keep it going. Sonic boom, sonic boom, sonic boom, keeps you running faster. Sonic boom, sonic boom, save the planet from disaster. Sonic boom, sonic boom, spinning through a world in motion. Sonic boom, sonic boom.
So here we have Green Hill Zone Act 1 of the first Sonic the Hedgehog game. You gotta go fast. And it was about 1981, I think, and you know, a lot of people were still nervous about the Cold War. So it was really good. Sega put out this edgy mascot, kinda told Mario to go fuck himself. Even though, really, if you hold down the run button, Mario's just... So then in 1979, Sega came out with the sequel, Sonic 2. Here you can see you're joined by Miles Tails per hour, who's a fox that doesn't really help you out. Again, this game wasn't that fast, but I mean, you could try to go fast. It added some new bonus zones and Chaos Emeralds that actually would let you turn into Super Sonic this time. I was never able to get all of them legitimately. I had to use debug codes. And even then I would still end up dying a lot because Super Sonic can still fall off ledges and get crushed, which happens a lot in the later Sonic levels. It's like, they don't actually want you to go fast, they're just kind of fucking with you. But, again, it was nice to have the attitude, you know, he wasn't as much of a sappy pushover as Mario, and he didn't encourage things like eating drugs, mushrooms. You know, he just said, hey, go out, run fast, grab some rings, you know, do what you gotta do. And whatever you do, you gotta go fast. If you don't go fast, then you're last. So here we have Sonic CD, available on the Sega CD. The only other game I played on Sega CD was Sewer Shark, and that was terrible. It was a full motion video game, really low res. Sonic CD was actually fun. It had an interesting mechanic where when you went past the signs, like that one I just passed that said future, if you went really fast and uninterrupted for a little while, you would transport to a future or a past version of the level, which was interesting. You know, the graphics weren't noticeably better because really this game was eventually, it was originally made as the same thing by the same team and everything, same engine as Sonic 2. They just added some extra stuff for the CD version, like that cool intro at the beginning, and then you had the thing where instead of just doing the spin dash takeoff, you could do the helix takeoff, where his feet look like the Mobius symbol for infinity. I always thought that was more fun and looked better than just dashing around in a ball all the time, because then you didn't get to see how cool Sonic looked running. So in the 90s, you know, people were just really tired of the Vietnam War, and you know, our boys coming back kind of messed up in the head from fighting the Viet Cong and stuff. So Sega put out Sonic 3, and not only did they bring back Tails, they also introduced that pink asshole you just saw named Knuckles the Echidna, and right away you knew he was a dick, because I mean, look, he just stole all your Chaos Emeralds, and apparently he's more powerful than Super Sonic, because he just fucking pushes them over and then steals the emeralds. They say Michael Jackson worked on the music for this game originally, but then took his name off the project because the Sega Genesis had shitty audio output. Really, I think this game introduced some cool stuff with like level transitions and zones. Like how this first level is all green and verdant, and then later it gets firebombed, it turns into Vietnam hell. Now, in Sonic and Knuckles, this was originally just supposed to be the second half of the Sonic 3 game. People noticed it was a lot more difficult than Sonic 3, that's why it was supposed to be a continuation. But it also offered the first chance to play as Knuckles, and you could even lock on your Sonic 2 or Sonic 3 cartridges to play as Knuckles through those games. That was kind of fun because there were a lot of unused areas in Sonic 2 that Sonic couldn't really get to, but Knuckles could because of his climbing. Personally, I hate Sonic and Knuckles because I get to this one sand level that's like a big maze and I just can't fucking get out of it. So I never got to see the ending. But, you know, Sega, they had to split it up and put it out because they had to compete with the Nintendo GameCube, which was a huge success. And, you know, at this point, Mario was just slapping Sanic around a lot, and Sega kind of scrambled, so here we had Sonic and Knuckles. It's an okay game. It copied the same bonus levels and everything from 3. Not much difference, it was just a little bit harder, more of a pain in the ass, and some of the levels were more confusing. Lots of gimmicks, as you can see. Sonic 4 is kind of interesting. They split it into 2 episodes you had to buy separately, even though... Here's Sonic the Hedgehog 5. This came out in 1999.